my name's Sean Rye. I'm reporting on behalf of Ringwalk UK Media, and I'm joined by current IBF European Cruiserweight champion, Jack Massey. Jack, nice to see you, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, mate. It's a fight week now, so not long till Friday. So it's all going good. How about yourself?
Yeah, all great, thank you, mate. It's nice to be asked back. I don't get that very often, mate. Thank you. So as you said, it's fight week. You take on Bilal Lagoon, of course. It's a very competitive fight card in Bolton on Friday night for the vacant IBO world title. How excited are you to headline that card?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing, mate. You know, it's the biggest fight of my life. It's what dreams are made of, you know, fighting for a world title. So it's going to be some night. It's going to be cracking. Yeah.
Looking at the presses and the footage of you guys going head to head, it certainly seems from where I'm sitting, and I'm sure for a lot of boxing fans, that you have that physical advantage. Did you get that feeling when you were stood next to him?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he's a bit smaller than me. But, you know, sometimes, you know, styles make fights. It's not always, you know, the taller guy who wins the fight. But you know, he's a good fighter. He's coming to win. He's young and fresh. He's the same age. Well, he's 29. And he's coming for that belt. And it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
No mug.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned there he's no mug, and some people might have looked at his bout with Tommy McCarthy last time out, and obviously, you know, it was a very close run affair. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't be taking your eye off the ball, but what will you be wary of from the Belgian? What do you think he brings?
No, he brings a lot of things. He's a very tough opponent. Like he went the full 12 rounds. With Tommy McCarthy, I think he's quite a fit lad. I think he only had 4 weeks' notice for that fight, and he went the full 12 quite comfortably. So he's obviously fit. You know, he's got a nice jab, looks for that left hook and the big right hand as well. But you know, I think we're going to get in there and do a number on
him. We mentioned there Tommy McCarthy, and obviously it can be said of numerous divisions, but the cruiserweight division, there's plenty of good British domestic fighters out there. Yeah, obviously the likes of yourself, Tommy McCarthy, Richard Riakporhe. Okolie's obviously moved on and got himself a world title as well. There's almost been like an unscheduled sort of round robin with some of the fighters in that bracket that we mentioned. Do you see yourself still at the top of that domestic bunch there, the ones that we mentioned? Obviously, some people might look at Riakporhe and think he's maybe got the edge, but most of the fights he's been in with yourself and with Chris, they've all been close affairs, none more so than yours, really.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I see myself, you know, at the top. I can see myself beating all those guys. You know, Lawrence Okolie, I was supposed to fight him for the British back in 2016, I think it was. Had to pull out because I ruptured my bicep in sparring. You know, Chris Billam-Smith, you know, we met in the amateurs in the ABAs, beat him in the ABA finals, and Tommy McCarthy, another good lad, and Lawrence Okolie, it was a very, very close fight. You know, it was a bit controversial decision. There's a lot of things what went on that night. You know, and I think I won against Riakporhe, and a lot of people did also. You know,
yeah.
You know, it obviously blew up on Twitter and stuff like that, and you know, it's just one of those things. But I see myself there, and you know, we've got a world title fight next, so we've got that to look forward to, and you know, maybe make a fight with one of them guys. You know, if they've got something to offer, you know, after this one down the line.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, without looking, sorry, carry on, mate.
Coley's got something to offer. You know, he's got a world title as well, so that'll be nice to get a fight with him.
Yeah, I think all those fights, like you said, make sense, and like you say, if they bring something to the table, and without looking back retrospectively too much, Riakporhe's had quite a few fights where they're a bit contentious, but yours, I mean, without that knockdown, that obviously was very, very dubious, and most people look back on it historically.
No,
and there was a lot of holding. Yeah. So Yeah,
I was
maybe
more
this.
feeling with that than the loss, I think.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never been knocked down from a headshot ever.
no, it was
Not
more of a
inspired.
forearm, I think.
Give that, I was fuming.
Yeah, I bet you were, mate.
Just one of them things.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and as a boxer, I'm sure it's difficult to get beyond that. Especially there was a lot of holding as well, wasn't there, in that fight? It wasn't just one incident. It was quite an accumulative effect.
A lot of scoring, yeah.
Yeah,
Frustrating. But learning curve.
yeah, absolutely.
But you
And
got
obviously,
warned so many times for that in the fight, and I don't know why. The
yeah,
ref didn't take it off him. It was crazy. But sometimes when you're a away fighter, it doesn't, always go your way. That's just one of them things in boxing.
yeah.
Always.
Also, again, as we mentioned, Chris Billam-Smith, you've made no secret of the fact that you'd be happy to take Chris on. Is there something in his fights that you've seen personally, or is it something that historically, because you fought in the amateurs, that gives you that edge? What is it that makes you think you've got that edge over him?
I think watching him fight, we've asked for the fight. He doesn't want to fight me, and there's probably a reason for that. And watching his fight the other week, it was nothing special, and a few fights before that, they keep saying, we're going to show, you're going to see the real Chris Billam-Smith, and his past 3 or 4 fights have not been great. He looks very robotic, looking for the big right hand all the time, and a bit slow in my opinion. So, he's scraping by, and I think obviously with them belts, what he's got, they're there for the taking.
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about Fight Zone and Dennis Hobson. They're doing really good things at the moment. Obviously, you've got the show that's at the University of Bolton on Friday. We saw a really good event down at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when Hannah Rankin successfully got her world title. It's really refreshing from a boxing fan's point of view. I just wondered what it's like for a boxer finally to have different companies, if you like, breaking that sort of monopoly or stranglehold on the big fight events. It must have been quite pleasing for yourself.
Yeah, mate, it's great to see for me. Also, it's obviously, you only see, 2 of the main promoters doing all that sort of stuff, but it's nice to see, Dennis come back on the scene. Obviously he was big back in the day. He had the likes of Ricky Hatton and stuff like that, and it's good to see. And obviously they've come back in, and Dennis has come back in, and the Fight Zone and all that, they're absolutely smashing it. Got Hannah Rankin an IBO world title now. You've got me the IBF European, and the next one IBO world title as well. So it's amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's good to have more shows around the country as well, isn't it? Obviously one up north as well. So as a bit of a northerner at heart myself, it's great to see these shows around the country rather than just in London all the time.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's great for the boxing fans, isn't it? That's what people want. And it's going to be a good night on Friday. It's a stacked undercard as well, so it'll be good.
Yeah, there's plenty of titles on offer, isn't there? It's a really good card.
Yeah, it's good.
Focusing back on the job at hand, if you like, and your fight on Friday. I've read that your trainer Rob Rimmer has praised your opponent, but also he's sort of indicated that stylistically he's great for you. Have you worked on anything specifically in camp, or?
Yeah, we've been working on bits. We've been watching a couple of videos, been working on a few things. Won't let them slide too much, but he does a few little things and makes a few little mistakes. I know he's got a kickboxing background, and he does a lot of what ex-kickboxers do. They sort of, when they throw the right hand, he brings his back leg around, comes very square on. And I think he's quite wide open down the middle. He's very square on. I think that's a bit of a kickboxing thing. I've seen it in the past with other lads that have come from that kickboxing. So
Yeah,
it works for me. It's great for me. That's where I want to be, straight down the pipeline.
Yeah, I've seen a few ex-kickboxers as well. They tend to sort of switch stance quite a lot, don't you, as well? And sometimes, like
Yeah.
you say, with that is a tendency to come square on a little bit. So you'll be looking for that, I guess.
Yeah, we've had an ex-kickboxer in our gym as well. We've been sparring him, similar height as well and similar style. So it's been good. It's been perfect.
Yeah. With you mentioning there about sparring, you've had some really elite level world class sparring in the past, haven't you? For those that don't know, would you mind sharing some of those guys you've been in with and also how you feel that you fared with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been over to Latvia sparring Maris Bridis. Sorry, mate.
It's all right.
I've been over there sparring him a couple of times. Michael Seslak was the last one. Went over to Poland to spar him. Sparred Dillian White, Joseph Parker. You name it, I've sparred them all. Even been over to the States sparring Rampage Jackson. He's, a big UFC star if anyone's into that sort of thing. Tony Bellew, Yuri Kalenga, he was the WBA. He fought Bilal actually. I've sparred loads.
Yeah. That must give you huge confidence sparring that kind of quality. And have you managed to get anybody of that ilk in your recent camp or?
Not in the recent camp, no. We've tried to pick. It's all sort of been out in-house and tried to pick sort of similar styles to Bilal. Sort of tapered it around that. So but we've still had some great spars.
Yeah.
We've had fresh lads coming in doing 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 and 3 and stuff like that. So it's been good. Yeah.
You're a big puncher. You mentioned there about your preparation. Are you prepared for the 12 rounds? I guess that sounds a bit of a silly question, but do you see it being a long, tough fight?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You've got to prepare for that. This has been the hardest camp of my life. It's been tough. That's why I'm laying in my bed now, just chilling out.
I can't fault it.
Obviously I've showed in past fights I can go the full rounds. Went the full 12 with Riakporhe, and got to be prepared for that. But I think I'm going to drag him into deep waters in the later rounds, and I think not looking for it, but I think we'll get a stoppage.
Yeah. We've talked already about Dennis Hobson, but I just wondered how it came about and what it was that he sold to you, what vision and stuff that made you want to join up.
I think it first come through. Big shout out to Kevin Marie as well, also my manager. He's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
It come through Kevin, and he was getting messed around before that. Went out of contract, with the last promotion, and then we had a little look around. Seeing some of the other lads were getting promoted by Dennis as well, and saw what a good, what good stuff they was doing. So went down to have a chat with them. Kevin put me onto him. We all had a chat and just liked what they were saying. So went from there.
Yeah. If you had a magic wand, and I know you're too professional to be overlooking this huge fight in front of you, but if you had a magic wand and you could go to your promoter or your manager and say, get me this fight without any questions asked over the next maybe 12 months, who would that be?
Well, with the big news of him moving up to the Cruiserweight division, it's got to be Canelo, hasn't it? Best, in my opinion, best fight on the planet at the minute. Yeah. That'd be amazing. If he fought Golovkin when he had the IBO, so you never know. It could happen. Wishful thinking, but it'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what you think, Jack, as a cruiserweight. Ordinarily, I think he's a once-in-a-lifetime fighter, because ordinarily, surely, if we were sat here speaking about a one-time welterweight, eventually fighting up at cruiserweight and people potentially classing him as the favourite in a world title fight. Do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
great. It's unheard of. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. He's obviously gone and done it at light heavy. But I think Makabu, he's obviously, the number one. He's got the WBC. It probably suits him a little bit more. He's a bit of more smaller cruiserweight. Probably a bit smaller than the others. Obviously smaller than Okolie. So he'd probably suit him a little bit better, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see on.
Do you think he'd have to be a little bit?
He's obviously got that speed behind him as well.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be a lot faster. But see how it goes.
Yeah.
See if McAndrew can catch him.
I'd like to finish on your fight, Jack, and I wonder if you've got a prediction for us.
Let's go for stoppage, round 10.
Good stuff. Well, all that remains, mate, is for me to wish you well, and thanks again for giving your time up. We really, really appreciate it, mate, and all the best for Friday. And hopefully, I'll see you on the night, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, mate.
No problem. Take care, Jack. Cheers. Thank you very much, mate.
Bye-bye.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.